What's up, y'all? Welcome to your Monday Mood for the week of June 15th through June 21st. So this is our last week of Gemini season. I hope you guys have been connecting, communicating, being curious, playful, having fun, opening your mind during this sun season. And also, what's happening this week that's pretty cool is Mystic Moon is on Thursday. So if you want to come socialize before we're done with this beautiful Gemini energy, come hang out with us. Thursday, 7 o'clock, create ATL. Tickets at experiencearcana.com. What a plug. Okay, so currently, we are cruising through these last couple of days of Gemini season. We will be entering Cancer season on Sunday, the 21st. And this Saturday is the summer solstice. So we will be starting summertime. And with that, you want to take a look back over the last 6 months since the winter solstice, which was at the end of December, and see like what things started, what ideas, what feelings we're kind of percolating around there. And with the summer solstice coming up on the 20th, you want to kind of see how things have grown, where you might need adjustment in those areas. I love using 6 months like that. You can use it with the moon cycles as well, because 6 months is a really good indicator of shifts and changes, and like you've gone through ebbs and flows and all that. So definitely take a look at the winter solstice time period and see like where you are with some of your goals, your relationships, things of that nature. Beautiful. We also have Chiron moving into the sign of Taurus on Juneteenth. So let's talk about Chiron real quick. Chiron is an asteroid, and it is essentially spoken to as the wounded warrior. So blah, 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 long story short, this warrior, Chiron, got hurt in battle, and he wasn't able to ever have his wound heal as like a reminder of his humanity. And so that concept of Chiron are wounds in our life where we have to work on healing and kind of being very present with that healing, because it's not necessarily always just going to heal up and be perfectly fine. There's always going to be some indicator of it, like a scar left, right? So Chiron has been in Aries since 2019. So about, what was that, 7 years? Yeah, Chiron transits are about 7 years. And so with this shift coming up on Juneteenth into Taurus, you want to look back on where you have healed around your self-identity. Where have you become more embodied with the person that you are in your physical body, your mental body, your soul body? How have you shown the world who you were? That was probably challenging, right? You had to go through these kinds of battles, Chiron, right? In these moments of understanding who you are, and releasing old identities and stepping into new ones, and dealing with the idea of self-abandonment and self-realization, and all of these kinds of very can be difficult, right? Because it's very externalized energy. A lot of our identity comes from our connections with other people. So you might, over these past 7 years, have found yourself like not friends with the same people, not in the same career, just completely different in your physical form. Your sense of self, like who you are, has probably shifted a lot, and there's a lot of healing that aided in that process. So as we step more into our healed selves, right, the sense of I am, Aries energy, we are now moving into Chiron and Taurus, which is all about what we have. So now that we know who we are, what are we going to cultivate with that energy, with the Taurus season of Chiron, which is going to be another 7 years. Now, it's going to retrograde back into Aries a little later in the year, so this is just going to be like a sneak preview. But Taurus has to do with our physicality, the things that we own, our aesthetic, our finances, our how we like use our money, what do we buy with our money, how do we invest our money. It also has to do with food. It has to do with like the earth itself. So this does feel really healing and regenerative for Mother Nature, first and foremost, but also with our relationship to our assets, to things. I think that this transit with Chiron and Taurus is going to help us reimagine how we interact with what we deem valuable. And we need it because our society is materialistic as fuck, and that is not helping any of us. It's stressing us all out. We all feel less than. Chiron and Aries, right? I am. Who am I? I need money, and it's hard to make it in this world. I have a feeling that our financial systems are going to be shifted and changed during this Chiron and Taurus transit as well, because Taurus also speaks about money. So I think that we're going to be healing our wounds as a collective around what we deem valuable and how our money is obtained and exchanged. That's my prediction. Personally, you're going to want to look where Taurus is in your chart, and that's where you're going to come more into yourself, more healing around that. And I'm looking forward to that personally because it hits my 10th house of career. Okay, we're ready to get Arcana up and going, you guys. So I'm so happy that you guys have been on this I am journey of me, because essentially the whole Chiron and Aries transit has been me finding myself and thus finding Arcana. So that's pretty cool. Let's get into the vibes for this week in the tarot for June 15th through the 21st. What is the collective energy for the week of June 15th through the 21st? Remember, Mystic Moon is on Thursday the 18th, and also be vending at the 70s inspired event at Pullman Yards on the solstice. So let's see what's coming through for the collective. What's the collective energy for this week, Spirit? Seven of Swords on the bottom. Self-deception. Now, I just talked about us finding ourselves with Chiron at the very, very last degrees of Aries. This is a lesson in where maybe we are learning who we truly are, so therefore we're not holding this false image of self up to ourselves anymore. Maybe we're more discerning with other people and what they're telling us. If it feels or sounds weird, I'm gonna be a little bit more uncertain about it. But with the Wheel of Fortune here reversed, okay. This is about the self-deception around the fact that we truly are in a new cycle. And this makes so much sense because I've been really feeling this energy. We just had the new moon in Gemini. We are in a new cycle, you guys. Good things are coming. The world is turning. The tide is turning. In your personal life, it's turning and changing. It may not feel that way. You may be feeling self-deceptive. You may be telling yourself it's the same. Nothing is changing. Nothing is working. That is a lie. The Seven of Swords is a liar, liar, pants on fire. The Wheel of Fortune is bringing us a new cycle, but with the reverse, we're thinking, no, it's not. Things aren't changing. Yes, they are. This is destiny. This is change that's happening that's part of your specific journey as well as the collective's journey. So trust that God, Source, the universe, however you see the all energy, is working on our behalf to bring us into a new cycle of abundance, of expansion, of growth, of this forward movement that brings us to higher to our highest selves and our timeline, right? Where we're trying to go, what we're trying to do. So don't deceive yourself this week. You might be feeling that very acute last placement of Chiron and Aries where we start to doubt all the changes in the decisions that we've made to be who we are. But as we move into this new season of our life, this new astrological season in Cancer, this new Chiron transit, know that we really are shifting into new energy. We're in a new cycle. Things are changing for the better. And don't lie to yourself about that, because all that's doing is slowing you up. That is your Monday mood. I will see you guys next week. Mystic Moon on Thursday. And check out the Book of Arcana. We're highlighting mystics every week. So go check out other awesome, amazing practitioners as well over there on experiencearcana.com. See you later. Bye.